For those who may not know, in addition to her ever popular program Greetings from Abroad, she also has extensive education in the areas of film, media, marketing, and let me add a few more. Also, she runs Premier Productions Group and is executive director at Obaapa Development Foundation that supports women and children through advocacy, health, and education, to name but a few of the pointers in her life. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group, with media support from the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. So there are people I call national treasures, people who have traversed different fields and garnered experiences that the next generation must download and copiously learn from. These are people that have blazed the trail and set a great example for us to look at in one field of endeavor or another. I have one such person here. Before tourism became tourism, there was Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor, and she's in the studio today. Nanahemaa, good to see you.
Good to see you, Reverend. Amazing.
It's just a blessing.
It's been a while.
I was telling somebody when you came in that we've known each other for I didn't want to add the number of years. It travels way back into the 90s.
So many years.
And thanks for all that you've done.
It's good to see you, and well done. You guys have worked so hard.
Thank you.
It's all over. It's showing.
Thank you.
Results.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Nanahemaa.
Yes, Papa.
How did it all begin? I mean, we got to see season 1, season 2, before seasons became seasons. But how did this idea of Greetings from Abroad begin?
I would say it's a gift and it's a blessing. In life, everybody has his blessing, and you only have to identify it early enough and explore it, work with it, and be committed to it. And I think that will be what, your course or your path will be. I had opportunity to lecture at my alma mater, which is NAFTI.
Wow.
When I finished school, after my national service at Videomat, you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, so I went back to school. I was called to lecture. So I taught at NAFTI for 3 years. And during that period, I had opportunity to study at Radio Netherlands Training Center in Holland. And it's like a postgraduate course training program, actually. So at the end of the program, you do a dissertation. And I had opportunity of looking around during the period that I was there. I was there for about 4 months or 5, and met some Ghanaians. And honestly, the Ghanaians that I met were in different categories. Those who were working in factories, those who were working at offices, showrooms, like good businesses that you can, applaud Ghanaians for. And I also met the other parts where Ghanaians were living in reserved quarters, those who had gone to seek asylum, and a whole lot. And I realized that there were a lot of them in that category. So I asked myself severally, do Ghana know that this exists? We used to hear Mikodi Edro. Yes, it was there. But what does it entail?
Right.
How do the people live? What kind of communication do we have with those people when they go and they live in those situations or conditions? Do they report back home? So the impression back home is that Mebako Abruchi and he's arrived. So there's gold on the street. People are building for their families and mothers. Why are they not reporting back? Why are we not hearing from them? Why are they not building for us? It's past 6 months. It's past 1 year. Those days it was amazing the way we thought. Ghanaians abroad should behave. So I saw this story and I thought Ghana should hear, Ghana should see, Ghana should know that it is not what we think. And there's so much or so many sides to the story than we perceived. So I thought about it, had communication severally with some of them. And then at a point I said, probably I'll use that as my dissertation.
Wow.
So I started working on it, did my plotting, scripting, shooting scripts. Everything was done. Only to go to the guys a day or two before the interview, and one of them said, hey, Charlie, what? No interview now I'm got to TV. So should I do interview with you, and the next time I'll see myself on television and you're talking about my situation? I spoke to my brother. He says, no, this is not a good idea. And those days, I'm talking about 6 years ago. It's not like today that people take cameras or phones and they're all over the place. People took pain in responding to interviews. So, long story short, a very long process squeezed out. We didn't do the thing.
Because the people declined.
Yes. So I needed to quickly reinvent something. So I went to, I had a friend at Schiphol Airport. So I developed something very quickly, and I had opportunity of shooting how crew members feel in flying. So we talked about the cockpit, flying, fright, and all the thing, takeoff and landing. In fact, we developed something interesting within 2 days.
And shot it.
And went into simulators and all that and shot it, came to edit it, and presented my thesis, and by God's grace, I passed very well. So when I got back, that thing just followed me. I spoke to my husband about it, and then we attempted to even do the northern trip to trace, because some of them told us how they got there. So we attempted, we went to GFIC, you remember? We went there, we tried to get some stuff, we got a caravan. They said, oh, the northern trip, when you're going, you don't have to use electronic vehicles. We tried to get a manual car. This is a whole lot. Eventually, we couldn't go. I don't know why, but I know we couldn't do the trip after all the preparation. So one time, my husband was in Chicago doing a program. Then he called me and said, Nana, this is your idea. The Ghanaian community here is a very strong one. So why don't we explore, this setting and see how it will run? I said, brilliant. And he says, okay, so I'll talk to the leader and say you'll be visiting. And I said, that's a good idea. Interestingly, that is when it was getting closer to Christmas. And we thought it was a brilliant idea. We didn't think about the conditions. We didn't think about anything. We just remembered that Christmas is good for greetings. So we'll hit the Christmas button and use it to start off. So we did all the preparation, got equipment from Mr. Ekowansan.
Wow.
Sakite Amishadai, thank you so much. Was the cameraman. Those days we were using Betacam and the Vintin tripods and all that. So equipment alone.
From here. Your flight.
Equipment alone is your luggage. I mean, full luggage. So eventually we got to Chicago in winter.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, Rev. Winter, full winter. I'll be talking and then, vapor will be coming out of my mouth. But the good news is that we were able to do the first series. Went through to New York, New Jersey, and that is when I met Kojentri.
Wow.
It was that period. There was a program at New York, and they were doing this picnic, something. And that's when I met him and I asked him permission to use the Daddy Anoma song because he was playing the song live. And I heard it and I said, wow,
Will fit the
this
program.
is this. This is the song. So when he finished performing, I just went to him and I said, I'm doing a program, Greetings from Abroad. I think the song will be a good signature tune. What do you think? Those days, I mean, he was very happy and he said I could go ahead and use it. And I think the program also really kicked the music up because it became a signature tune and it became a household song over the years. And I remember one day when Efia was to perform the song, when he was introducing Efia, he says the person who is coming to sing the song has listened to the song more than anybody else.
Wow.
Because she sleeps with the song and wakes up. You know, that's basically how we got that on. And then by God's grace, we started, linked it up to GTV. Eventually, it rolled on several networks in Ghana, and then even OBE TV in the UK and a few other channels outside. So we are 25 years and counting.
Wow.
And now we do greetings and back home again. So we are now doing the reverse in addition to the greetings from abroad.
Congratulations on 25 years. A beautiful story. I'm just listening to you talk about it and I'm listening to three things. First, the problem you set out to solve.
Yes.
And then the pushback,
Yes.
the unanticipated pushback.
Yes.
And then stakeholder engagement.
Yes.
I suspect that in the US case, the leader of the community was a game changer in getting them to say, this is a great idea. And
Yes.
the timing, the Christmas one.
Exactly.
Would you say that changing the approach and then focusing on something celebratory inadvertently or ultimately ended up throwing light on what you were trying to do in the beginning without being more direct?
That's exactly what the case was. The greetings now became the embellishment. It became the twist. It became the icing on the cake. So it made it more exciting. But in actual fact, we were doing the interviews. We were asking same questions. We were throwing light on the issues. And I remember one time in Germany, one man I interviewed opened his freezer. I was in Anabra. Then he went and opened the freezer, the top, and it was really frosted. And he said, so, no, I'm saying, this is how sometimes situations are in this country that we walk through to go and work. Then we send money home. All the time the freezer was opened and we were recording.
He wanted people to feel the temperature
Yes.
through the lenses.
Yes. This is what the situation is, and we pass through to go to work and you send money home for people to do projects for you and they spend the money without thinking.
Did you find yourself sometimes immersed in other people's stories, almost as if it was your story?
Emotional.
Tell me about that.
I have cried several times. Sometimes, even now, I'm emotional. I cry sometimes, and sometimes you get to people's homes.
What triggers it?
You have to do alternate dispute resolutions. Don't say it. Sometimes you get to the Ghanaian communities, somebody says don't go to X person, don't go to Y person. You have to be very tactical in your dealings, in your human relation, and so many things, that undercurrents that you have to handle before you be. I mean, I tell people all the time, what you see on TV is way about a quarter of the real situation is what we put out there.
What is the real situation?
The real situation is that you travel, you get down at New York City with Ghana Airways, and the rest of the world is up to you. So how do I get to Chicago? I don't have sponsorship. I only had sponsorship for airline to send me to New York City. So sometimes you get Ghanaian community members who are very, very helpful, and they take you from one person to the other. Sometimes they donated some monies for you to go to the next place, and sometimes, a whole lot went into it. You stay with people, you eat with them, you let them feel you let them I mean, so you be able to communicate with them. You be able to. You don't go sitting in hotels and getting up and driving to homes and telling them my buying interview and so what. I wouldn't even tell you why I'm here. We have to be part of the system. You have to roll with the people. You have to understand their situation. Otherwise, how do you even, if you don't immerse yourself in the system, how do you get the reality of the situation?
Help it appreciate in the immersion process peculiar differences you noticed about people in different countries and how they responded to you. For instance, let's say the typical person in the UK versus, let's say, Germany versus, let's say, the US. Were there differences in how they related?
Not really in terms of relationship, but we of course we met different classes of people and their way of appreciating what you're doing. Some people were skeptical, some people were not responsive, some people were almost like uninterested, of course, and all that. But there are some people who really made you feel like what you're doing is amazing, you know. And I remember some time ago we interviewed some young guys in UK, and we were talking about young executives, for example. So I was asking them that what makes a Ghanaian young man get to UK and get six figures, as you know, and we were talking at that level. And so they talked about education, and so that was the message that day. Because I have been preaching years and over that yes, in Ghana and other African countries, we don't have the opportunity to travel as many others have. But if you really want to travel, one of the easiest way you could travel is to go studying. Even if it's not your first degree, now master's degree going abroad is easier than it used to be. So the easiest way is to go study. But whenever you go studying, remember you have to come back home. Because whatever you are going to study is not for where you are going, it's for home. And so we have to add that caveat. You know, so these gentlemen showed us how they went into the system, had opportunity to study. Some of our people who go to abroad, they enter the system probably as a taxi driver. They get comfortable in their space and stay taxi driver till death do us part. But somebody goes in as a taxi driver, takes midnight courses or maybe weekend classes and gradually becomes a graduate, goes on to become a master holder and sometimes PhD from taxi driver.
So what's the trigger? What makes the difference in the two situations?
People are self-motivated. People are challenged by the conditions and the systems. And others are content with whatever they have. You know, so it's either you encourage somebody, motivate somebody, you know, just let them realize that there are other opportunities that you can actually touch on.
There are other opportunities you can actually touch on, and that is the message from Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor. If you just joined us, this is Springboard, your virtual university. We managed to get Nanahemaa to join us in the studio to talk a bit about 25 years of traveling the world, traveling across, internally, externally, just leveraging people's stories to bring you an experience in the comfort of your home. And we're finding out from her the engine room, the story behind the story, how it really felt like on that journey. In the second part of this conversation, we'll find out how we can use all this to make tourism even better in our country. So tell somebody to call somebody to join this exciting conversation about a freezer open and an interview taking place to give you a sense of the temperature inside the freezer. So were people sometimes angry? Were there people who felt they regretted that they had traveled? Were there people who felt like they should get into the camera to say it hard enough so that they give me a sense of the temperature on the ground as you recorded some of these interviews? Have there been extreme situations?
There have been extreme situations. I mean, people get angry, especially the example of the freezer. People get angry because those were the days that people would take monies and take pictures of people's properties. And then they end up getting to know that. I heard situations of people fainting and dying and all that because they were abused by family.
So they worked there very hard over a period of time.
Exactly.
And sent
And be
money to build
remitting.
the house.
Remitting.
And they were getting pictures of the house.
And they were
so
getting
they were happy with
pictures
the progress.
of the progress.
Only to finish paying and come home and realize that there was
Nothing.
actually no house.
Nothing.
Wow.
One person said there was a footing. So he asked, so, and the guy was just there. And the others, there wasn't even anything to show for all that. So people were angry.
Wow.
People were angry. We met such people who had gone through these very sad experiences who shared. They really burnt it out in the programs and talked about it. We also met situations where people thought they were forgotten. So there was this gentleman that we interviewed in Germany, and then he looked at the camera and said, and mentioned the daughter's name in Koforidua, and said, "O papa asumesi ni mi muye metiase. Ontemenka me free, you know what the 8 years, CCM so we GHS." I mean, so for somebody, even as I say now, I'm having chills.
I know.
For someone to look into a camera and tell the daughter that when I was leaving Ghana, you were 8 years, I hear you have completed GHS. This is me. I'm not dead. I'm alive. You can't get this feeling on social media.
Did you at a point feel that you were on a mission?
I thought so. Because the whole program started as a social enterprise. It was the social responsibility of Premier Productions. So we were actually supporting the program from our Premier Productions. That is how it started. So it was actually a mission. I always say that I only didn't have to preach. In fact, I was preaching sometimes in the churches when I get to, before I start shooting, I have to talk to the congregation and I'll preach. And I'll let them know that I'm a Christian and I'm on my faith mission. But then after that, then we go on to, but so I feel it's a mission. It's a mission because it had a purpose, it had a target group, and it had, it was made to cover the world. And I'm sure that our mission is to expand to the world. And so I always knew that program was a mission.
One of the drivers or the indicators of a great mission is when the person immerses themselves in it, body, soul, and spirit.
I know, right? it was meant to be.
Right.
It was meant to be because sometimes, even when we get back and we are editing, for so many years I was editing greetings myself. And I tried to get people to edit it. And I had to go back and work on it a few times because the kind of
vibe, the young people call it vibe.
The kind of vibe that you need to show, the kind of presentation, if you take one word from it, it won't sound same.
Have you heard?
It would never sound the same.
I'm talking to my editor to understand how sometimes
it doesn't sound
one
the same.
word taken out changes the whole. And you, the person who did the interview, are like, you know what? Take out 20 other words. This
not that
word,
one.
Yeah, tell them for me.
Not that one. Not that one. Because it means a whole lot.
My goodness, you made my deal.
It means a whole lot. And so you can, sometimes people say, let them help you. You're stressed and you're tired. I said, I know. I want the help. Who doesn't want help? But if the help is going to give me extra work, because sometimes someone will edit it, I sit and I watch it, and it's not what I feel coming to me should be the situation.
Let's go a bit technical on this for the benefit of, because I want to stretch this beyond video editors. There are people who write scripts for people. There are people who do editing for newspapers. There are people who do ghostwriting. In all your experience, and because you have a technical background, having lectured in NAFTA, which involves communication and all that, what does it take to capture the essence, if I may use that word, of a story without losing it through the edit?
Reverend, I'll tell you a small story, very brief. I have had opportunity of running several events, and I've worked with media personalities across board. And I will tell you that some time ago, somebody picked even a speech, typed speech, and sent it to do a publication. And because the person had to retype it, of late we do give soft copies, so it's better. Even retyping what the person sat through the event though, supposedly writing, taking notes. At the end of the day, he came and asked for speech. We gave the person the speech. Rev, the story that came, names spelt wrongly, terms, so I asked myself, what did this guy come to do at the event? If you were sitting in your studio or your network place, and we had brought you a type, it's probably the same, right? Only for you to retype it and present it. But you were sitting at the event.
Live and colored.
Live and colored. Listened through and through. Did all the protocols that are within and left. Only to bring a publication that was abhorring. So the technical issue is that if you don't present stories the way it's supposed to be presented, with the key issues. Why are we here? Who was here? What were we talking about? What do we intend to achieve? What was the content? Who were there? How was the response? Was there communication, interaction? I mean, a whole lot goes on within the event space. So as a reporter, what makes the story juicy are these small ingredients. So if you don't knit it well, I'm not there, but you should give me the impression that I have a holistic idea of what happened at the space. So every tiny thing taken off loses that essence of the whole story. So editors sometimes crucify stories because they were not there. They only received information and they are presenting the information according to the journalist or whoever brought it to them. So there isn't any empathy. There's nothing related to the story. It's like cabbage in, cabbage out. Sorry. But a lot of them are good. Some of them are very good.
This is Springboard University. In the last couple of minutes, Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor has given us a masterclass about bringing the essence of a story home. For those listening on radio, you will miss out on the look in her eyes. But for those watching on TV, if eyes can communicate, you didn't even need the words, but she broke it down. How do you bring the story to the person watching? She says the critical success factors is that the person sitting down and watching must feel as if they were there. And I think these are very useful lessons that you are sharing, that anyone working on a script, doing any form of edit can use to enrich the quality of what they do. And one of the things that we seek to do at Springboard is to tap into the expertise of people who have done big things and enable the younger ones who are coming up to know how they got the results that they got so they can also get better. By the power of technology, there's so much more available now than before, but the basic rudiments haven't changed. This is Springboard, your virtual university. So my name is Albert Ocran, and I'm blessed to be here with Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor, talking about the journey of her life, the learnings, particularly from the 25-year experience with Greetings from Abroad, and hoping to distill useful lessons about how to do things well experience across the world, and then also navigating our way into tourism and what can be done in our country. Talking about opportunities, Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group with media support from the Multimedia Group and Graphic. So the question for the day from our Enterprise Advantage tip is simple. Can I buy motor insurance for 3 months? Somebody is asking, I can't afford a year, or I don't want to buy for a year. Can I buy for 3 months? And the response is your motor can be covered for as short as 1 month and for as long as 12 months. So per the pricing guidelines, it's more expensive to buy motor insurance for a shorter period. So if you buy for a month, if you multiply that by 12, it will be higher premium than you would pay for if you bought for a whole year. This is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. The number to reach them on 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. Let's go for a break. When we come back, how can all this enable especially domestic tourism, which is my favorite? Please don't go away.
Hello? Bye.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird is the word. Bird, bird is the word. Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is the word. Bird, bird is the word.
To consider the implications.
Hello? Everybody knows that the bird is the word.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
This be me, Kobe, aka Kobe Boga, KB for short. And this is my sweetheart, Obaapa. Today, I get big surprise for her. Charlie, gone are the days I couldn't spoil my girl. Now I'm engaged to the woman of my dreams. Don't just look at my success. To get here, I had to follow the process. Out of nowhere, I lost my job. But I believe in humble beginnings. I got an idea that I knew I could grow. I started from a small setup, then invested in growing my own coconuts. I then grew my product lines. Now, I sell to many supermarkets in the country. Fellow young Ghanaians, trust the process and keep hope alive.
Take advantage of agribusiness through the Ghana Grows program. Ghana Grows, Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this incredible conversation with Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor, someone that Comfort and I have known for several years. We deeply appreciate and respect her here for her contribution to making this nation what it is today. And we get to hang out with her and pick her brain on the learnings from her journey. It's all about learnings from the virtual university, the learnings from her journey, especially with greetings from abroad, and also to tease out how we can use that to leverage untapped opportunities as a country. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Foundation and powered by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group with media support from the Multimedia Group and Graphic. In case you are looking at opportunity and you are considering the areas of agriculture and agribusiness and ATVET, the Ghana Grows Program is a collaboration between the MasterCard Foundation and Springboard Foundation to challenge young people to look in that direction for career opportunities and also to engender mindset change about what these industries and sectors promise as far as youth employment and opportunity is concerned. To find out more, call our hotline at Ghana Grows on 030-8255-775. Call or WhatsApp and you will find out more about opportunities in these sectors. Now, I'm talking about opportunities. The World Travel and Tourism Council is forecasting a promising future for travel and tourism. And they say the sector will be characterized by robust growth and career opportunities. They predict that in the next 10 years, by 2034, it will supercharge the global economy with 16 trillion in terms of cash. When you were doing it for free. 16 trillion, making up 11.4 of the entire economic landscape and providing employment for 449 million people. I'm looking at these numbers and saying, where is Ghana in this? From your experience with travels, with tourism, with all these experiences, I love domestic tourism. When I travel, I feel across the country, I feel so energized, and I think there's so little we are doing, there's so much more we can do. From your travels, how can we leverage your experience to supercharge the domestic tourism in our country?
Amazing question. Amazing question. There's so much we can do. Tourism has a huge potential and Ghana has its bit. And we can actually leverage on so much. Recently, if you check the return and after the return, and you can imagine even that alone. Even before that, you remember the Honorable Obeche Bilamte and co, the Joseph Project, and also the homecoming, and GIPC did homecoming. Consider these events and the Chalewote. There's so much that Ghana can gain from tourism. We can start from scratch. You know about Kwewu. President Kufuor was the president at that time. And we had opportunity to do a program with the Kwewu Youth Association. And that time, the place was not bubbling like this. So it was one of the things that actually triggered homecoming and Easter holidays for Kwewu community. And so the Kwewu Youth Association said, people are not going home as they used to go. Our houses are becoming haunted homes. And of course, if you go to Kwewu those days, you could see huge mansions, no inhabitants. So this was one of the reasons why these group of people came together and said, let's engineer something. And then that thing started. How many years now? Do you know how Kwewu has developed? Just because of Kwewu Easter holidays. And it started from just one event. Recently, we traveled to a community to do one of these Ghanaian festivals. And then I noticed something. During the festival, vendors are from one end of the town to the other, opposite, throughout. So if it is a week, throughout the week. So even people who are not vending, during that festival period, they start vending. They sell food, drinks, everything from A to Z sold at that space. And if I show you the town, it's not that big, not that long, but within that period, the traffic that goes to that place and back. So, looking at all these potentials, what can we do to leverage on periods like festivals? Ogwa Fetu Afashe, one of the biggest in the country. What can we add? What ingredients? Tourism for development. Let's just put it as an agenda for 1 year. Go to Pagastat and don't just go and see crocodiles. What can we add on? So that when someone goes to see the crocodiles, the person can stay close by. There is no restaurant. We went to the, unless maybe quite recently, we had to go to the immigration towards the border to find somewhere to eat. So my question is, if we put this as one of our priority policy issue, with all the attention government can give to that sector, to the ministry, to the agencies like the Ghana Tourist Authority, and all the work that Mr. Ajima and co are doing now, we will make inroads and we will really maximize tourism as one. In fact, for now, it was supposed to be the third income generating, hub for Ghana. I don't know whether we still hold to that.
The reason I bring this up, interestingly, I went to Faja too, not quite a few years ago. And when I look at the guide who took me up the place, the amount of money they were asking for, it was so little. And I live at the center where you go to register to climb the mountain. And I'm like, elsewhere, this would have been just one
magnet.
It is just there.
Yes.
There's a waterfall just right next to it. No fee for going to the place.
Magnets.
It would seem that our efforts, Nanahemaa, focus a lot on the natural tourism, the things that exist by nature. But you go to a country like South Africa, and majority of their tourists...
It's created, eh?
They are created. So that's why I'm buying into the idea of using...
The Eiffel Tower is not natural.
In fact, even the Sun City is in the mountains and has a beach in the mountains. And they will create it and they will go.
Yes.
So if we relied on the natural, it would seem that we can only do so much. From what you're saying, you're using just festivals. If every Tadis developed a nice Christmas concept based on what you used to watch when we were children.
Yes.
Now, CEOs are part of Anchors and Harbour City, and we'll go and dress in masquerading clothes
and parade. So you know how we can leverage on that?
Tell me.
Because go to other countries, people travel. In fact, they mark it on their calendar.
On their calendars, yes.
That this year I will be in this country at this particular time for 10 days. Huh? If somebody comes to stay in your country for 10 days.
And it's not just one person.
And it's not just one person. Sometimes it's a family. Sometimes it's a group of friends. Friends from or workplace. So 10, 15, 20 people come in a bus, go around your country. You know how much they will drop in 10 days before they leave? So... I don't know.
Where does the trigger come from? Is it from government? Is it from local communities? Is it individual initiatives? Is it a collective? Where should we start from?
We all around, but we can start slowly. We can start slowly. It can be an individual thing. See a potential, whether it's an existing potential which is not developed, that you think you are interested in developing, take hold of it. But we should have also the will of the government to support projects like that. You know, a lot of people go into projects and they get frustrated because there isn't any support financially. They could have done it, but it probably just need a little push. Somebody can invest almost everything and get to a point that is almost ready. but needs a little push. And there will be so many bureaucratic and bring whatever. And so the person gets frustrated, and I've seen projects being abandoned. And that's one of the things that when we started back home again, we experienced, because the idea was for us to follow up on those who had returned and were doing different things in the community and to promote it. And so it will encourage others to come back. That was the whole concept. So somebody goes into a hinterland, and we visited somewhere in Brekum. And this man had gone to start a secondary school somewhere beyond Brekum in the Bono. And the guy wanted the secondary school to be at par with the Achimotas and stuff. So he just said, I will start from the scratch. And he was somewhere in the bush, and we went to record him. And he has started new. He was doing the buildings. And children have started coming in. He got topmost teachers. A few classes, but they started. I don't know how it is today. I want to go and follow up. But this is the kind of person we should have a facility to support, so that that place becomes a tourist site for somebody who is going to Brekum area and says, oh, since I'm going to Brekum, I mean, Kostra X model school in that village, you know. So I'm at Domahinkro. There's a monkey sanctuary in Domahinkro, a few kilometers away. I didn't know about it. We went to do Easter homecoming years ago in Domahinkro. And I was introduced to the place. Reverend, we were just walking around with the monkeys like this, feeding them from our palm.
And this is a beautiful experience.
Amazing sight to behold. So this is something that we should invest in. So somebody doesn't just travel to Domahinkro for funeral or for party or for festival, but would have an added on opportunity to drop some money in the community.
So let me drop two, talking about dropping, let me drop two things that I'm picking from what you're saying. So let's start with even the person who says, okay, so Ghana, I'm going there next year. When I go, where should I go? Shouldn't it have been easy for that person to take a tourist attraction map and sitting in their comfort in their home in Chicago, anywhere, or even here in Ghana, be able to know that if I head northwards, I can stop here, pass here, and everything is on one dashboard for them to make decisions. That is pillar one. Pillar two is even more interesting. So if you wanted to go and watch Lion King at the London West End, you can take your phone and open, and it will tell you which date. You say, I want to come there on 24th December. You see that day there are 3 shows. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. Then you say, I want to watch the 7 o'clock one. Then they will give you the theater.
3D.
On your phone.
3D.
Try it right now. It will give you the hall you are going to see.
You can choose your seat.
It will show you all the seats that have already been taken.
Yes.
So you are sitting here and you can know the seats available on 24 December.
Yes.
You can buy 10 seats.
Yes.
You can buy next year.
Yes.
You can buy next 2 years. That alone guarantees that the income can come ahead. Even if you don't want to travel, you will travel.
Because you had already committed to it.
This dashboard on my left-hand side and this payment system on my right, what will it take, Nanahemaa? Why can't we have it? Tell me, why can't we have it?
You let me tear.
Oh, and it's not my intention. It's not my intention.
Lauren, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of work going on, especially in the tourism sector. And I know that there are magazines, even years ago, we attempted something. We did the Premier Ad magazine. I don't know if you came across it. We used to send it to Ghana embassies abroad. And those days, the purpose was just for somebody who is traveling to Ghana, who goes to the embassy, will sit at the reception, and whilst waiting, will grab and look through. So we used to put in a whole lot, including tourist sites and personality profiles, business profiles, adverts. And those days, it was on 3 carriers, airlines as well, you know. So there is so much going on and there is some kind of documentation. But the way the system, the world is running at a supersonic speed, we need to catch up. We need to catch up because if someone picks a magazine now and can read, it can be digitized.
An app on the phone.
And
Simple.
you can pick it up anywhere across the world and still get that information. If you are asking right now on Google, what are the festivals in Ghana or what are the tourist attractions in Ghana, you will find some information, but some are not up to date. Some needs to be worked on. And you should be able to book. Look, when you go to booking platforms to book for hotels in Ghana, you have to do booking.com. It's somebody's platform to come and book for Ghana.
Let's sell some ideas to the young people
So
in Ghana.
create something that we can also earn income.
Right.
This is Ghana booking platform. I don't have the skill, but I can pass on the concept. You understand? Ghana booking hotels platform.
On the bright side of that, I mean, for all the theaters I've gone to watch recently, I mean, with whether it's to Uncle Bo White or to George Quay, any of the theaters that are done
And
recently.
Akushika.
Legend of Akushika.
Amazing.
Oh, it was
Amazing.
just brilliant.
You guys.
Brilliant. And the gods are not to blame. I watched that one as well. Any of the recent works that they've put out, you can buy the tickets in the comfort of your home. So
Exactly.
that's progress. But I wish we could scale that up to be able to now book for 6 months in advance. Of course, those places, the theater, they show Lion King for more than 20 years.
And they will still show.
Same city. And that's the reason why they're able to get that kind of patronage.
Yes, they will still
tell
show.
you this is their 22nd year. Showing it every day.
They will still show. And you know why? They anticipate new people coming into the system all the time.
And you can book in advance.
Yes. You've been to Kenya, in Nairobi. There's this hotel by the seaside or riverside that they do this special dance with meats and whatever in the evening. The dance is the same. I've been there a couple of times. I've seen the same dance. But
And they've chopped your money several times. Like you always go and watch.
I'm telling you, almost every time we go to Kenya,
You want to go and see.
somebody will say, do we go to X location or Y location? You are sure majority of the people will still choose. What makes it tick? We should create something that ticks. Something that would attract somebody who is coming to Ghana to say, as for this location, if I go to Ghana and I don't get there, it means I haven't been to Ghana yet. Look, we have the Shiros visiting Ghana in September. I had to push a few buttons to encourage them to come during the Ugwa festival period so that they can see the festival and then continue to do their summit. I mean, it was strategic because I just wanted something to be added on to their visits. And same happens. Some time ago, there were some guests coming to Ghana. I pitched them to come during Asogli festival. So they visited Asogli, stayed through the festival about 3 or 4 of the days and saw the highlights there. But before they came to Accra for the conference, they had to add on to the money they are coming to spend.
Indeed.
Because the Asogli was not part of the plan.
That means employment for the people who vend. That means young
The
people can get jobs to
women and
do.
the vendors. I mean, my passion is even the vendors. Go to a village. I was in Kwangoma recently, our village. Before we left, because we were not even many. We were about 15 people as part of the team who went to do menstrual hygiene week.
Wow.
And we visited 6 communities. And after that, we did a Deba in Kenche. Within the few days that we were in Kwangoma, we bought water from X, we bought drinks from Y, we bought 1,200, 150 meat pies from somebody who sells probably 20 a day.
A day, right.
We bought food from a cha for everybody for about 4 days continuously. A cha wouldn't sell to those extra people in the last 5 days or 6 days that the visitors were within her space, she would get additional 1,000 cities in that community. Who says tourism doesn't pay?
You've set up a fire in our hearts, and I hope that somebody listening can spot some opportunity.
It does.
Because from what you've shared, I can see opportunities for local communities.
Yes.
I can see opportunities for traditional authorities, for the local government, for central government, and even for individuals who are thus inclined.
Yeah.
Let's sign off with your learnings after traveling this world for 25 years, doing what you do, and reinventing it to do back home, and all the learnings from internal tourism and so on. Share a couple of closing lessons for young people trying to also start their journey and hoping that they can one day sit on television and share their story and their learnings.
I was talking to a friend, and we were looking at why university students are driving Mercedes-Benz and other luxurious cars. And years ago, before you see a gentleman driving Mercedes-Benz, yes, why the change? The youth of today want fast-track life. The youth of today wants everything they see to be theirs. What a lot of them refuse to remember is that there are a lot of in-betweens in a story. The beginning and the now. A lot of in-betweens. And those in-betweens mostly are not shared. People celebrate glorious times. People celebrate successes. People celebrate achievements. They never find time to check the in-between. So a lot can be gained. A lot can be achieved. In our tourism sector, if you're a young person right now and you decide to just do special slippers that is noted for Mr. President, write on it, Mr. President, Ghana, and make it special. And anywhere it is seen globally, everybody knows that this slippers is coming from Ghana. That will be your niche. That will be your creation. That will be your source of income. And it can start from 10 chaliwates. And I can assure you that in the next 5 years, you won't be doing 10. You probably will be exporting containers. There is so much in the system for the younger ones to tap in. They need guidance. They need hand-holding, advice, just a little push financially, because sometimes younger ones have amazing ideas.
I can testify to that.
Amazing ideas. But how to start? They need that support. And that is what we have to do.
That is what we have to do. And those are the thoughts and the words of Nanahemaa. Let me clap for you. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending time. It's been an enjoyable conversation.
Amazing.
And you must promise to come back again, because
We'll
this
do
is
it
your
again.
home. This is your home.
We'll do it again.
This is your home. One day, let's do a master class on communications and broadcasting.
We will do.
And distill some of your learnings and the things you've taught, that you are looking at those who are coming up and say, they could add a bit of this to make it even richer.
Exactly.
Share a few learnings for the benefit of those who are really trying to be excellent in what they do. But thank you so much for joining us, Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. This has been a beautiful, educational and informative edition of Springboard, your virtual university, with my guest, Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor. I'm finding it difficult to put her in one box, either as a CEO of Premier Productions or Obaapa Foundation or the producer and originator and host of Greetings from Abroad, but you know the Nanahemaa Adjoa Awindor, and she's been with us in the past hour sharing her life learnings with us and also stimulating our thoughts about the potential that tourism holds. Springboard has been brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group with media support from the Multimedia Group and Graphic. Till we come your way again next week, my name is Albert Ocran saying God bless you, and God bless you.